Boom, boom, boom. What's up, everybody? Can you guys hear me? Ursula, can you hear me? Urzula from Warsaw, Poland, baby. Can you hear me? Just want to make sure. Yes, I think you guys can hear me here. Yes, so I think we're working. If you guys are able to let me know in the chat if you can hear me, just because we've had a couple issues with these lives, with the audios. As of recently, I think from my end it's working, so I'm just going to kind of continue on. But if you guys don't mind letting me know, if you're on this live, you guys, I would just love to hear where you guys are tuning in from. Where in the world are you guys coming in from? What city? What country? If you guys feel comfortable, if you want to just share in the chat section, I would love to hear where everyone's coming from. But welcome to the YouTube live here. Friday, August 9th, North America time, 12 p.m. Pacific. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Whether you're watching this live or you're just going to be tuning into the recording. Sound is perfect. Great. Thank you, Ursula. I appreciate all of you who are here, and I would love for you guys to give this live a thumbs up, to subscribe to my channel. We're doing lives every Monday and Friday, 12 p.m. Pacific, where I'm just going to talk into the space here on a topic. And also we can engage in conversation. Any questions you guys might have in the chat section, I would love to hear from you. Anything that you guys are curious to know more about. But I'm just going to start talking some things. And so what I was going to talk about here today was becoming the oracle. So becoming the feminine oracle. Also just how women magnetize men. Right? How as a woman do you really become magnetic? How do you really pull men into your field? Right? So it's a common thing where, women are always wondering like where are these fucking spiritual dudes? Like, where are these guys that I want in my space? Like, how do I meet a guy? Right? And so much of this for women is how do you move into your own polarity? How do you move into your own magnetism? How do you move into this space where men are just like, holy shit, what's going on with this woman? What's going on with her? There's something that's happening in her space. And so what this really is for, for women, if you want to be able to draw in a divine masculine, if you want to be able to draw in this spiritual guy who's also primal, like think about the divine masculine is spiritual, but he's also primal. He's got that very linear sort of masculine energy, but he's also tapped into this higher realm, this higher frequency energy. He's tapped into magic, right? So he gives your oracle total space to be seen. He gives your total oracle space that every single part of her can be seen. So for women to come into the space of being really, really magnetizing to the masculine, it's about her becoming the oracle. Right? So women become really, really magnetizing to men when they become the oracle, to spiritual men. So what does it mean to be the oracle? What it means is that she has downloaded her feminine code from God. So the oracle is very much about the third eye, right? So we think of the third eye as basically the revelation of the God path in front of us, that we're able to in our life be tapped into the deepest possible thread and cord of God in our life, and we're moving forward, right? God reveals thread after thread after thread, little piece by piece, and we're able to move towards that space, all related to the third eye, right? And so the third eye of the oracle won't begin to open until the field starts to be cleared, right? Until the field starts to be cleared. So when an oracle has a lot of compression in the energetic field, what it really means is there's a lot of ancestral density that she's still holding on to. Could be mother wound, father wound, but it basically means she has this sort of weather system around here, which is what I refer to as kind of the quantum realm, the quantum field. She has all this weather system around her that is not allowing her most vibrant radiance that is related to God and source to fully come through her space. So she is compressed through some degree by kind of this weather system, right? So when you think of a weather system, when we're in this space of divine possibility in our life. The sky's pretty blue. The sky's pretty blue, maybe with some scattered clouds. Yes, Ursula, this is your case, but it's the sky is blue with some scattered clouds. That's when we're in this divine, the crown is open. We're sort of in this divine realm of possibility, right? But when we're holding a lot of fear, when we're holding a lot of distrust in the universe, when we're holding a lot of ancestral energy and density in our space, it's kind of like thunder showers, a fucking tornado, a hurricane. We're like, ooh, like I don't really, it feels helpless. It feels like we're trapped, right? Think about like the number one thing as human beings that we feel that brings on suffering, that brings on hopelessness, despair, is that we feel trapped. We feel trapped. And what I mean by trapped is we're trapped within a weather system in the energetic field around us. And what this means is that we won't be able to be in a realm of possibility. We won't be able to create. When we have this strong weather system around us, we're recreating karma. We're not creating a new divine paradigm. So we have to be able to clear this weather system. And so as it relates to the feminine oracle will be revealed at the third eye when the weather system around her is starting to clear, right? So when the weather system is starting to clear around her, what it means is that the oracle is being awoken in the quantum field, which means that, think about your ancestors, right? Think about your maternal ancestors, the feminine ancestors, the amount of women who were not able to be in their power, that they lived in repression, a contraction, taking the power away at the hands of the masculine not trusting the feminine, not giving the feminine space to move in the liberation of her power, or even just the feminine themselves not trusting their own power or being afraid to step into their own liberation. So what this means is we have this real dense weather system. The third eye is shut down. So when the feminine oracle really comes online, it's the face, the third eye, and the crown. And this is all opening in proportion to the lower chakras, to the root. And so right here at the third eye is the frequency of your aura, right? So when you say the oracle, when I say the third eye, what we're really talking about is the frequency of your energetic space, your aura. And we all have a color, right? Or maybe a couple colors that we attribute here. Like when I think of here for me, I think of kind of this pink right here or turquoise. So it's perfect that I'm wearing this fucking hat today. But I think of pink or I think of turquoise. So what that means for me is when I'm in my highest vibration of my highest possible self, when I am moving with my oracle, with the psychicness, with the true authentic space of my spirit, that I'm operating from turquoise or pink from right here. And the path is being revealed to me. And so when this is opening here, it means you're really beginning to see clearly what your God path is. And this opens when the weather system is really, really starting to clear. The amount of suffering and stagnation people experience in life is based around a compressed and a condensed weather system, right? So we want this weather system to clear. So how this relates to the masculine. The number one thing a man is looking for is who is going to be my muse on my mission. What a really powerful man is looking for is he's looking for that radiant light of infused life force, that sort of divine creation of God and the goddess of who's going to inspire me on my path. Who's going to infuse me with life force energy? He's looking at the feminine as the beacon of everything that is living and breathing, right? This is why he's looking for, the widening of her hips, the softness of her flesh, the radiance of her skin. He's looking for this breathing embodiment of life. And he's asking himself, who is going to mission to a that I he's looking at the feminine and asking, can she inspire and deepen my God anointed mission? The same way that a woman is looking at a man and saying, can he open me greater than I can open myself in my connection to God, right? So the feminine's looking at the masculine and being like, can this man open me more than I can open myself, or open me more than I've already opened myself. But the oracle has to create a reverent, reciprocal relationship with God before she can discern that, before she can discern through the prototype in her body, can he open? God looks at her, and can she take me deeper on my mission? Can she inspire greater integrity of my path? This is what he's looking for. He is looking for a muse, right? He's looking for someone to deepen the integrity of his mission, right? And so what the divine masculine is looking for is, has her body opened to God? Has her body completely opened to God? Because what happens, man, is discerning the level of her oracle, the level of embodiment in her oracle. Every woman on fucking Instagram loves to say they're an oracle. There's a vast, massive difference from being an oracle and becoming an oracle. They're vastly different things. The way a woman becomes an oracle is through a spiritual initiation. So think about it. A man doesn't become his oracle, his sort of divine sort of king, his divine masculine, until he becomes a spiritual warrior. It's the exact same thing for a woman. A woman does not become an oracle until she becomes a spiritual warrior. Xena, the fucking warrior princess, flying through the air, stabbing demons and goblins, right? So for a woman to become an oracle, she has to move through this path where fear transforms to freedom, where she meets the deepest possible fear and terror of the body, and she's able to move, alchemize, and integrate that fear to be able to liberate herself and her body so that all the power of her being is able to move through her and flow out, right? So when a woman's not in her oracle, it means that there's a contraction or a compression on her radiance. Some part of her has a parking brake on her light, that she won't allow herself to be liberated from every single part of her, that she's going to move into this radiance that is literally aligned with the gods. And so in order for a woman to do that, so what starts out, fear is really high here and freedom's really low. So when fear is really high, freedom's really low, it means we're living in survival. We're holding a lot of trauma. It means there's a really dense weather system. We have a distrust of the masculine. We have a distrust of the universe. We don't trust ourselves. Fear is really high. We live in suffering. We're stagnant, right? So as we move through this spiritual rite of passage, as we become spiritually initiated, it begins to shift, where all of a sudden freedom becomes so much greater than fear. It doesn't mean that we don't have fear, but means that it's kind of like a bruise on our skin. It's more like a microcosm in the space, and freedom's a lot higher. Now, as a woman, when your freedom is so much higher and your fear is so much lower, you're going to feel more trusting and allowing for your radiance to shine. You're going to allow yourself to live from your pussy and your womb, from your heart, to show the emotions and the radiance on your face, because it doesn't feel like there's any threats, right? The fear has been brought down. And so a big thing with women, when they don't step in their oracle, they don't trust the universe and they don't trust the masculine. So if they were to move into their radiance, now they'd be exposed to threats from the universe and the masculine, both these pieces. So, I'm not going to step into my oracle. I'm not going to step into my light, because now the other shoe's going to drop. The world is an unsafe place. We have a lot of distrust. We're holding a lot of fear. We anticipate that the space of our oracle is a threat, because it's lived in the ancestral lineage for so long that the power of women has been taken away. So I can't be in that level of openness. What do you guys think happens when we choose men from this place? You can't discern if a man is actually in his healthy masculinity, because you have a distrust of the universe and a distrust of the masculine. So the type of men that you're going to choose from this space, probably going to be men with a lot of fear, probably going to be men that can't hold the liberation of your oracle, because you're choosing from your own fear. You're choosing from your own compression and sort of this weather system here. So you're not going to be able to choose a man who's aligned with God. You're not going to be able to discern from a wholly embodied place if this man is fully aligned with God frequency and source, and that he can truly liberate my oracle. And so the feminine has to move through this spiritual warrior initiation where she can reorient to God, where she can realign herself with source frequency. What it ultimately means is that she can submit and surrender to God. She can submit and surrender to the universe as if the universe were the masculine. So this is the ultimate polarity practice, is the feminine being able to surrender and submit to the provision of the universe and God as if it were the masculine. To know that you are always taken care of, that there is sort of this divine orchestration and recalibration and reorientation that is happening in your space endlessly, where everything that is happening for you is happening for your highest good and your highest calling. This is very much crown energy. This is all here. This is trusting in this unfolding and this orchestration of God. It's trusting it at the deepest possible level. This is where the feminine face becomes radiant, because she's allowing the light of the divine to come. She's allowing the light of God to come down. Also, what happens in this space is the left side begins to open. So the oracle is born and bred in the unknown. When I say the unknown, what it means is the feminine field off to the left. So even just as you imagine, what's the energetic space like off to your left as you feel into it, right? If there's a lot of compression in the ancestral realm with the oracle, meaning your great-grandmother, your grandmother, maybe they were gifted, but they weren't able to be in the liberation of their power for various reasons, it's going to feel like a compression on the left side of your body. As you feel into the left side of your body, you're going to be like, ooh, it's dark. It's cold. That's not a safe place. What that really means is it's not safe for you to be in the unknown. So what happens when it's not safe for us to be in the unknown? We move to control. We move to fear, trying to control things, trying to keep things right here, which doesn't allow the oracle to come online. So that feminine field off to the left is the breeding ground where the oracle is born. And so what happens is we have to, by working with both the feminine field and the masculine field, be able to clear the space so that now this unknown space off to the left can be magical. It can be this brightly lit place where we trust the sovereignty of ourselves and our psychic feminine intuition, that now through the sovereignty of your own body, through the direction of your own womb space, that you can make magic. You can make magic in this unknown space off to the left. You can make everything you want in the space off to the left. And so this space off to the left opening, it's always responding to the masculine, right? This is why when we talk about polarity, both the masculine and the feminine, we're always working together with both these fields. So when a woman is trying to reorient her relationship to the unknown, if there's a compression on the right side of her body in the masculine field, she's not going to feel safe to move into the unknown, right? She has to clear the masculine field, which is dealing with your father wound, which is dealing with your relationship to the paternal ancestors, which is just dealing with your distrust in masculine energy in general, which is why a really great practice to heal masculine energy is to imagine that the universe were masculine and that your body's trying to move into a submission and a surrender to God as the masculine. That's one way to help clear the masculine field. But as an oracle, when the masculine field begins to clear, all of a sudden you can begin to step into the unknown. You're like, oh, this is not so much a threat anymore. You know, you don't feel that your power is going to be taken away by men or by ancestral sort of trauma, ancestral karma that's hanging out in this weather system, right? So now as a feminine being, you can move a little more safely into the unknown. Like, there's not as many threats here. This is okay. You don't feel that the other shoe's going to drop, right? This is a common thing when we feel with our power. Like if I step into my power, the other shoe's going to drop. That we think, oh, if a lot of good things are happening in my life, something bad's going to happen all of a sudden. right? It's kind of that sort of Neanderthal, sort of caveman, cavewoman brain that we're just programmed to be like, oh, things are going to turn bad eventually. When really what that is, it's a compression in the weather system here, right? And so for women, when it comes to moving into the unknown, which is where the oracle is born and bred, she has to feel that it's open here on the right side, that no man is going to come and hurt her. No man is going to come and take her voice away. No man is going to come into the field and, not be able to see her, not be able to hold her, not be able to allow all parts of her to come online. So when a woman really clears the masculine field and moves into the unknown, now what's happening is she's downloading her code, right? She's engaged in this relationship with God and source. The energy's fully coming to her. Now what happens is a man looks at this woman and it's like, holy shit. She's the manifestation of life. She's the manifestation of godly sort of life force energy. He looks at her and it's like, she is everything that is living and breathing because she has learned to open her body, her heart, her womb to the universe at large. She has learned to open beyond just a man, right? So what he's looking for is that she has learned to open just beyond a man, that she has learned to open her body and her light, her radiance, her system to everything that is living and breathing, to God, to the universe, which is just, for example, the reciprocal for when a woman is looking at the masculine. How do you discern if a guy is the masculine or is a divine masculine? Is that the divine masculine has opened his body and system where now he's here to open and penetrate beyond just a woman. He's here to penetrate and open the universe at large with his energy, with his embodiment, with his mission, with his God-anointed mission, that he is here to penetrate and open beyond just the container of a woman, right? And then he sees her coming into her oracle, that she has learned to open her radiance, her softness, her system beyond just the container of a man. She is open to the universe at large. So now what this creates is like a triangle, right? Where two people, man and woman, have opened beyond each other to this triangular relationship with source. This is where the paradigm, the frequency of sacred union is born. And so a man wants to know that she's open even greater than him. A man actually wants to know that he can never really have her. You might think, oh, this seems counterintuitive. What a man wants to feel that he can never really have her. Yes, that's where the dance of polarity happens. He wants to feel that she belongs to God, that she belongs to source, that she belongs to something even greater than him. In the same way that the feminine wants to feel that his mission is so much greater than her. It doesn't mean we're not devoted in the energy, but it means that we expand beyond each other to something greater, which allows us to infuse codes in our body, the divine masculine code and the divine feminine code. Now what happens is relationship becomes a choice. It becomes an active choice of discernment, right? The man is looking at the woman and he looks at her and is like, what I can create in the world, how I can penetrate the world is so much greater with her than if I were to do it on my own. And now she looks at him and is like, I can already open and be fucked wide open to God at such a divine level. But with him, with this man, I know that I can open deeper to aspects of my soul and my being and my cellular flesh than I would ever be able to access or open to without him. And we make this sort of active discernment through the prototypes that we have created with source frequency in our body, where we're like, yes, this becomes an active choice to participate here, to act, to create this devotional act of choice and discernment. And now what happens is we engage in giving each other these codes, right? As the man has moved into his directive, penetrative energy of opening space is so much greater than her. He brings that code through his body to her. He has learned to penetrate and open in alignment with Source and God, and she has learned to open her entire body and being to total alignment with God. That they both give each other something greater than they'd ever be able to access on their own, right? Than they'd ever be able to access on their own. And so the masculine is always looking for space. The number one thing the masculine wants to feel in the container of a woman is space. He wants to feel space for his masculine energy that, whoa, like I can move into my, that I can move into my divine here, that I can move into the role of being a leader here, that I can move into the space of provision. And he feels that space, and she is able to offer him that space, right? She's able to provide for herself. She's able to live in that provision for herself, but she offers him that space as an active choice of discernment, that I'm going to allow a man to have this space because it's going to take me to a deeper spiritual experience. So when a woman surrenders to the provision of a man, she's not surrendering to the provision of a man because of a lack within herself, but she's doing so to deepen her own provision, right? So she's already has lived in the provision for herself, provision of God, and then she creates the space for a man to create a deeper spiritual experience for herself. As she actively allows a man that space, she creates an even deeper spiritual experience within her own body. And what she's discerning, what the divine feminine is discerning, is can the provision, leadership, and guidance of this man, can he take me to a deeper spiritual experience right now in this moment that I can take with myself? And it really becomes this active choice, right? For both sides, right? This is why, I see a lot of like spiritual women who are with non-spiritual men. And what's happening here is that the things they probably like about the non-spiritual men is that there's stability, there's security, there's a linearness, that they feel fixed. They don't feel like this, right? They don't feel like this, right? And I understand that, but that is not at a level of sort of divine submission, right? Because what's happening if you're a spiritual woman and you're not with a spiritual man, he is not going to be able to hold the totality of your oracle. He's not going to be able to take your oracle deeper than you would on your own. So maybe he can hold a pillar for some of the flowing, but he won't be able to deepen the flow. He won't be able to bring you even deeper than you could on your own. Because what happens when a man is reorienting himself to God, the woman at some unconscious level in her body is saying, ooh, his entire field is blasted wide open. His entire field is blasted wide open. And she's feeling that I can expand into my most liberated potential here because of the size of his container. Because of the size of the container that he is oriented within himself in his own relationship to God, that he can take me deeper. He can see every single part of my oracle. You feel it in the size of his container. It's the root and it's the crown. And now she can feel that every single part of my oracle is going to be able to be held here, right? But a woman can't discern this if she is not open to God first. If a woman has not created a prototype of her own submission and surrender to the provision and all-knowing of God, and created that all-knowing within herself, she won't be able to vet the embodiment of a man's container. She'll choose a man that will be at some lower level of a spiritual experience for herself, right? Her oracle will never be able to be truly liberated. And maybe it's not her purpose to come into an oracle and to create this surrender submission relationship with source frequency, maybe that's not her purpose. Maybe it's not what she wants. And then she only wants to access part of her power. But if a woman is a really old soul, if she has a lot of spiritual gifts, a lot of spiritual powers and potential, then she'll never be fully satiated or satisfied unless she's fully able to open to source. Unless she's fully able to open fully to God so that her oracle can be fully revealed, unveiled, and liberated in her body. And part of the piece here is that a man will never be able to fully satiate a woman, right? Which plays into sort of the collective masculine wound that no matter what he does, it's not enough. This is part of the poetry of polarity, that a man could never possibly satiate every single part of a woman, which is why she needs to create this greater communion with God. So every part of her can be filled, right? And this is part of the real polarity, and the poetry of polarity is that a man will never be able to satiate every part of her. Maybe he can temporarily, but then, then her desire will increase, and the container in the well keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And what a man needs to be able to hold is that he will never be able to satiate every single part of his woman. If she's truly liberated to God, he will never be able to satiate every part of her. This is how a man needs to be able to hold the collective wound of the masculine, that no matter what you do, it's not enough. And so a man has to actually be able to sit in that space, that he will never be able to fully satiate her. And this is, again, where the poetry of polarity happens. But so often women are discerning the masculine without creating a prototype to surrender to source. And so just think about who we're going to choose from this space. We're going to choose men who orient their container around her, men who are not tapped into like a sacred mission or purpose. Women are going to be operating more in control. They're going to try to control rather than fully surrendering to the unknown. And so that's probably the biggest piece about, okay, how do we become an oracle, right? How does a woman step into her oracleness? It's about fully trusting the unfolding and the unwinding of everything in your life on your path, that everything is happening as it should, that you are completely all-knowing, that everything in your life is happening exactly how it should. That's how the crown opens. That's how the third eye opens, right? And so it means trusting your timeline completely. It means having patience with how everything is unfolding for you, and understanding that maybe it's not unfolding for the egoic wants, but it's unfolding for everything that your soul needs to come into the manifestation that it has been intended for it in this lifetime. And so a woman doesn't become the oracle until she becomes completely all-knowing, that she trusts the unfolding of everything that is happening for her to step into her power exactly as it should. This is where she builds a relationship to the unknown, and she's able to create magic in the dark. She's able to light up the space of the unknown, and she's able to basically move from her third eye in her womb in this wide open space of uncertainty. And she's like, I feel at home no matter where I am, right? Now we're oriented around ourselves. Even in this unknown space, we're really rooted in ourselves, right? So when you become really rooted in yourself, now your magic has like a reservoir that it can kind of be held into. It has these massive roots that it can kind of surrender into in your own body, right? And so this is why the oracle is born and bred in the unknown, right? But think about it. If you're a woman and you're trying to step in your oracle, but you can't be in the unknown, that's where you're going to choose a man based around fear, based around lack, scarcity, based around, your own forms of control, You've basically have said that you don't trust how things are unfolding in some way, so you're going to choose from fear rather from your own form of embodied love. Because when you really begin to trust yourself and your ability to trust your oracle in the unknown, now you're moving into a more embodied state and frequency of love, of discernment, of active choice, of patience, slowness, of softness, that you are not going to choose based around fear or based around control or a compression of your space, but you're choosing and seeing everything from just possibility of creation and abundance, right? And think about how you discern masculine energy from this place. When your entire weather system is more blue skies with some scattered clouds, with your energetic field feels really, really open, you're looking at the masculine as more this active choice of your own sovereignty rather than of lack, of control, of fear, of I need someone to complete me. I need a fantasy to save me. I need someone to alleviate me from my suffering. I'm actually looking for someone who can just take me deeper, someone who could take me deeper than I can take myself. And you're going to have a more active, embodied sense of discernment from that place. You're not just going to choose someone because out of desperation or fear, time's running out. You're going to be choosing from, you're already engaged in this hyper spiritual experience with yourself and your own relationship to source frequency. But you're making a discerned choice of what would create an even deeper spiritual experience for myself, right? What would create an even deeper spiritual experience? Because all we're looking for in a relationship is a spiritual experience. The problem is that most people don't live a spiritual life. And so they look and they choose this relationship to try to save them or create this compartmentalized spiritual experience rather than what happens in sacred union and this new paradigm of relationship is where relationship becomes an active choice of discerning what person, what container will help create an even deeper spiritual experience for myself, right? What person, what container, what type of relationship, what sort of growth-minded relationship, what sort of energy, what sort of feeling in my body and my system will create an even deeper spiritual experience. And so what a man is looking for is how much can I trust her oracle? What that really means is there's something that a feminine body can provide a masculine mission that he will never be able to provide for himself, right? It's this innate connection to the universe and all living things that a woman has biologically in her body that a man will never have, that she can help to infuse more layers and tones of color into his process in a way that he will never be able to access. And so she infuses his mission with more vibrancy, more light, more inspiration, more heart. How much do I trust her oracle and how she moves and navigates her oracle through the world? What that really means is how does her feminine fill space, right? Wide open, right? Does she need to move to control or does she have the capacity to surrender and to submit to her oracleness, to this magic within her? And does she inherently, intrinsically trust this oracle inside of her? Does she trust this oracle inside of her as all knowing in the realm of God? That she's like, this is coming through me. I know this to be true. And so a guy is trying to discern, a divine masculine is trying to discern, whoa, I can feel the power of her oracle and the trust that she has in her oracle. I can actually surrender to this. A man wants to surrender to the provision of her oracle. And he's discerning how much do I trust that oracle, which really means her relationship with God, which really means her trust in source frequency, right? And if a woman has a real distrust in the universe, that the universe is out here to get her, she won't be tapped into her oracle. The weather system's going to be really, really dense all around her. It's going to be really, really dense all around her. What a man do is he wants to her magnetism. He wants to her radiance. And so what happens when women choose men who are too linear? When women choose men who are too much in the earthly realm, they might be masculine, but they're not divine masculine. That guy does not have the capacity to surrender to her oracle. So he will never be able to liberate her oracle. He will never be able to hold the container and space for her oracle. So a divine masculine man is linear. And he's masculine. He lives in the space of consistency, of execution, of action, all these things of safety. But he is able to surrender to the feminine code. Because of his own space that he's created on the left, he is able to surrender to her oracle. When a man can surrender to her oracle, a woman has space to liberate and rise into her ancient powers. Be like, oh, this man trusts my powers. He respects my powers. He sees these powers of this reverent capacity of my gifts. Now the feminine can rise. She begins to trust in her oracle more and more and more through the reaffirmation of the masculine trusting in the provision of her oracle. The oracle can light up the space of dark, and she can move into this psychic, witchy, feminine intuition of her body that can lead the masculine in ways that he's not even ever going to be able to lead her. This is what the divine masculine is looking for. This is what he's vetting for. He wants to fucking surrender to your magnetism. This is where, as a woman, you don't have to do anything. Men are beating down your door. They're like, holy shit, can I take you with me? Can I take you with me? Can I worship you? Can I worship the oracle nature of God that lives through you? Can I bestow at the shrine of you? This is what he's looking for. He wants to surrender to your oracle, but he's discerning. Can I trust your oracle enough that I will surrender my own maybe masculine need to control and lead? Can I surrender to the psychic vibration of God that moves through her in a way that will never move through me? Because my code is different. You have to be able to surrender and take in each other's codes. That's what sacred union is. And a man, yes, he can take your oracle deeper, right? Through his own size of his container, through his own oracle, through his own spirituality. But part of how he liberates your oracle and allows the oracle within you to rise all through the crown is how he surrenders and says at some energetic level, hey, I trust you this much. I trust your psychic witchy intuition and all living and breathing things that move through you, and I surrender and I bestow to you. Lead us in this way, guide us in this way. And now she's able to move into her gifts and powers and be seen in ways that she's never been able to be seen, in ways that the ancient ancestors in her space have never been able to be seen. And so now as the oracle rises in this surrender from the divine masculine, now she liberates through her body all the ancestors in the entire maternal space. All the women who have been shackled, who have been burned at the stake, are able to liberate through her. And the power of those oracles now begin to move and infuse through her. They become compounded through her. And she begins to summon the ancient oracle gifts that have been lost in the quantum field for centuries. And she becomes a divine creation. She becomes the manifestation of everything living and breathing as God. And this is where a man wants to worship you. This is how the masculine learns to worship you, when he trusts your oracle. That her oracle, it's fucking razor sharp. It's vibrant. It's big. This is where masculine worship comes, where he's willing to be receptive to you. This is where the real feminine wound of never being, the collective feminine wound of not being seen, of not being heard, of not being chosen, that part of her begins to rise, and the flames begin to be fanned and carried upwards within her. that she can finally access parts of her, and those parts can be reaffirmed and given support to in a way that they never had before. And in the entire quantum ancestral field. But she has to be able to surrender and submit to the universe, and submit to the universe as the masculine, so she can now create this full harmony and trust that she knows everything that's unfolding in her body and her life is part of this all-knowing creation of her to surrender to her power exactly in the time that it's supposed to come to her, exactly on her timeline. This is when the third eye opens. The God path is revealed to her. Now she can discern what's the masculine and what's the divine masculine. What happens is, when we don't move in that space, women will choose. They'll choose men who are living in their feminine or men who are living in their wounded masculine. Or she'll choose men who are in their healthy masculine, but they're not in the divine masculine, right? And so women who truly know that they're meant to become embodied oracles in this lifetime have to choose the divine masculine, right? So maybe she's a feminine and she's a real feminine being, but she knows she's not really an ancient oracle. And then probably her choice is going to be quite a linear, just masculine energy. A guy who's in his healthy masculine, but he's not tapped into his own oracle, the sort of the ancient field here, right? So a woman needs to know. She needs to really make a conscious choice in her body of what her path is, and of what her path is, how she's going to choose and discern from this space. And the masculine won't be able to surrender to a feminine's oracle, right? He's not even looking for that. That's not even on his radar. That's not even in his paradigm. But the divine masculine, if what you want is a divine masculine man, then what he's doing is he's discerning, how much do I trust her oracle? How much would I be willing to surrender to her oracle? And he's asking himself, will she make a great muse on my mission? Will she infuse my mission with more vibrancy and light? And will her oracle actually make my mission more potent? Will her oracle actually make my mission more penetrative, more deeper? Because what's happening is he's receiving a divine feminine code, right? So when a man is receiving a woman's oracle, he's downloading a feminine code in his body, which now his masculine mission becomes a kingdom. For the first time ever, his mission becomes a kingdom because it has the energetics of the oracle. It has the divine feminine merging with the divine masculine. This is why, I totally understand why when a guy creates something that a woman gets half of what he creates when he's with her. But this is just happening at a really unconscious level. When you create this at a really conscious level, the divine masculine is very conscious and aware that his body is downloading a divine feminine code, receptivity of the oracle that's infusing with his sacral chakra. So now it infuses with his life force energy and becomes a creation. So now what he creates as a business or a creation becomes basically a birth through her energy and his. It's an energetic co-creation of something. And so this is what a man is vetting for. A divine masculine is vetting for this on his mission. That can I receive and be receptive to her oracle? And as I do that, will my kingdom be the creation of ultimate magic? This is what he's vetting for. And as a woman, it's about fears up here, freedom. It's about creating a switch where all the stored trauma, all the ancestral energy, all the karma, all the past life karma, all the distrust, all the scarcity, all the fear is able to counter shift with trust, with provision, with abundance, with joy, with pleasure, with ecstasy, with surrender, with submission. So when those two pieces really, really switch and shift, then she's able to move into her oracle, and she trusts that everything is unfolding with her, and she can surrender to God on her true timeline. She's not trying to control. She's not embroiled in scarcity and fear, and she's not choosing a man from this place, but she's allowing the unfolding for her field to open and expand so this weather system can disintegrate around her, and now she can choose from this space. She can now choose from this embodied place of what man is going to take me even deeper in my process of unlocking more of my oracle. What man through his own provision with God is going to take me even deeper than I've already taken myself? And now it becomes this active choice of discernment, that I want this man's code to infuse with my sacral chakra. And he wants the divine feminine code, the receptivity of the oracle, to infuse with the sacral chakra. And now you exist in this cosmic upswirl of energetic co-creation, the holy rapture. So that's what a man's discerning is. Can I surrender and submit and fully receive this psychicness, the magic of her oracle? This is what a divine masculine is looking for, that her oracle can take his mission even deeper, that it can make his mission that much more potent when it becomes infused with the magic psychicness of her oracle and what moves through her body in the mix. And so if a woman wants to be able to call in a divine masculine partner, she has to first become the oracle. She has to create this deeper surrender and submission to God to reorient her entire container to become something even greater than it has been, so she can fully download her feminine code. The divine masculine and the divine feminine begin to find each other when they fully downloaded their code. They fully downloaded their code in the body, and now they're looking for a counterpart to exchange codes with. Like look what I got. Like, what do you got? Let's, a little show and tell with each other, and then you combine and co-create, which creates this upward swirl that takes you both even deeper to God. And that's what sacred union, this vibrant frequency and this new paradigm is all about. So I'm going to leave it there, everyone, for this sort of talk, this sort of transmission here on becoming the oracle and how the feminine magnetizes the masculine. And I think a lot of just what I talked to is what the masculine is looking for in the feminine, and what the divine masculine is looking for in the feminine. To subscribe to my channel, I have lives that I'm going to be doing every Monday and Friday, 12 p.m. Pacific, rain or shine. Even if I'm speaking into the dark abyss, I'm going to be here, baby. We're going to be going. You can ask me your questions. You can bring up topics you would like for me to explore. And I'm just going to kind of preach. I'm going to engage in these transmissions and just see what comes through in this space. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. If you're watching this on the live or you're watching the recording of the live, I appreciate all of you, and wishing everyone a wonderful weekend.